Survival is about mindset, seeing opportunity, not just danger. It's about adapting, staying alert, and never letting your guard down, even when the world around you looks like a dream. But some places push you to the edge. Anatahan is one of them, a place that tests every ounce of your willpower and resourcefulness. This tiny volcanic island in the northern Marianas looks like paradise: lush jungles, black sand beaches, clear blue water. From above, it's a postcard come to life, a place you might dream of escaping to. But its beauty hides a brutal reality. The very things that make it look inviting are the same things that make it dangerous. Anatahan is a green prison, isolated by endless ocean. There's no easy way out, no passing ships, no rescue on the horizon. The island is small, just 9 kilometers long, 4 wide, with a massive volcano at its heart. The volcano looms over everything, a constant reminder of nature's power. The terrain is rugged, the jungle thick, and the volcanic rock unforgiving. Every step is a challenge, every path a potential trap. Resources are scarce, every calorie is hard-won. Food and fresh water are never guaranteed, and foraging becomes a daily battle. The relentless heat and humidity sap your strength. The air is thick, heavy, and every movement drains you a little more. Imagine being stranded here, the sound of waves, a constant reminder of your isolation. The ocean that once promised freedom now feels like a barrier. The horizon is empty, hope fading with each passing day. The vastness of the sea only deepens your sense of being cut off from the world. Survival here isn't just about food and water, it's about managing your mind. Loneliness and uncertainty become your constant companions. Fear, despair, and tension build as you're trapped with the same people, day after day. Tempers flare, alliances shift, and trust is hard to come by. Anatahan became a pressure cooker, a social experiment with no rules and no escape. Every decision could mean life or death. The island itself became a character in a story of shipwreck, jealousy, and violence. Its presence shaped every moment, every choice. Ordinary people, thrown into extraordinary circumstances, were pushed to their limits. Their struggle was as much against themselves as against the island. Before we dive into what happened, remember, this wasn't just any island. It was a crucible, forging and breaking those who landed here. Its beauty masked a harsh reality, and its isolation set the stage for everything to come. The line between paradise and prison was razor thin. This is the story of Anatahan, the island of the lost. A place where hope and despair collided. Here, survival meant more than battling nature. It meant enduring the storm within and without. It meant facing the darkness within. The true test was not just physical, but deeply psychological. The paradise you see from afar. It's a mirage. The closer you get, the more the illusion fades. On Anatahan, paradise became a nightmare. And for those stranded here, the fight for survival was only just beginning. The story begins in June 1944, as World War II rages in the Pacific. The ocean is a battleground, and every day brings new dangers for those caught in its path. A convoy of small Japanese fishing boats crewed by sailors and civilians is caught in the chaos. They are far from home, navigating treacherous waters under constant threat. Suddenly, American warplanes attack, unleashing a storm of fire and steel. Ships are left burning, and men are forced to fight for their lives in the water, surrounded by destruction. Survivors, battered and desperate, spot an island on the horizon, Anatahan. It's a glimmer of hope in a vast, unforgiving sea. They swim ashore, exhausted and in shock, their bodies aching from the ordeal. The sand beneath them feels both foreign and life-saving. 31 men, Navy sailors and civilians, are stranded, cut off from the world. Their uniforms are torn, their spirits shaken. They have no radio, no way to signal for help. The silence from the outside world is deafening. The war is ending, but they don't know it. For them, the conflict feels endless, and hope is hard to hold on to. At first, the military hierarchy holds. Orders are given, routines are established, and discipline keeps fear at bay. The senior officer takes command, but as days turn to weeks, authority blurs. Hunger and uncertainty begin to erode discipline. They're no longer sailors and civilians, just survivors, clinging to whatever hope they can find. The island is unforgiving, and the group must adapt quickly. Every day is a struggle for food, water, and shelter. They have no idea how long they'll be marooned. Time loses meaning as days blur into nights. Their only certainty, they're completely alone. The vastness of the ocean is a constant reminder of their isolation. The battle for survival has just begun. Every decision could mean life or death. The men are a mix of backgrounds and skills, united by disaster. They must rely on each other to endure the unknown. As time passes, the lines between order and chaos begin to fade. Tensions rise, and the struggle for leadership intensifies. They cling to hope, but the reality is grim. Each day brings new challenges, and the will to survive is tested. Anatahan is now their world. The island's beauty hides its dangers, and every corner holds uncertainty. The outside world is gone. All that remains is the struggle to survive and the hope that rescue might one day come. The real test is about to begin. On Anatahan, survival will demand everything they have, and more. In survival, the first days are critical. Shelter, water, food. Every decision can mean the difference between life and death, and the smallest mistake can have lasting consequences. Anatahan offered some hope. Fresh water trickled from hidden springs, edible plants grew wild, and coconuts hung heavy in the palms. These resources were a lifeline, but they were never enough to guarantee comfort or safety. The men built huts from palm fronds and bamboo, scavenging what they could from the jungle. Each shelter was a small victory against the elements, but the nights were long and filled with uncertainty. They hunted monitor lizards, fished the rocky shores, and foraged for roots and fruit. Every meal was hard-earned, and hunger was a constant companion, gnawing at their resolve. Then, deep in the jungle, they found a crashed American B-29 bomber, a treasure trove of unexpected resources. They salvaged metal for tools, parachutes for clothing, wires for fishing. The wreckage became their supply depot, sparking new hope and ingenuity. The wreckage gave them a fighting chance, allowing them to adapt and survive in ways they never imagined. But life was still harsh. Biting insects, festering infections, and the psychological toll of isolation wore them down day after day. The monotony and longing for home wore them down. Each sunset brought memories of loved ones and the ache of separation. They stared at the empty ocean, waiting for rescue that never came. Hope faded with every passing ship that sailed by, oblivious to their plight. They built a fragile society, but cracks were forming. Tensions simmered beneath the surface as resources dwindled and tempers flared. Survival was no longer just about nature, it was about each other. Disagreements grew sharper, and trust became a rare commodity. The island tested their bodies and minds, pushing them to their absolute limits. Exhaustion and despair became daily battles. The outside world faded, only the struggle remained. Each day blurred into the next, hope replaced by survival instinct. They had conquered the basics, but new dangers were brewing. The threat was no longer just the wild, but something far more unpredictable. The real threat was no longer the island, it was the people beside them. Paranoia and fear crept in, turning friends into rivals. Anatahan was about to reveal its darkest side. The island's true danger was only just beginning to emerge. Survival would soon mean more than finding food. It would mean facing the darkness within themselves, and the choices that could never be undone. The men thought they were alone, until they found two others, Kikichiro Higa and Kazuko Higa. Kazuko, young and attractive, was the only woman on the island. Her presence changed everything. The men, deprived of female company, became obsessed. Kazuko became the center of attention, the unspoken prize. Tensions rose as men vied for her favor. At first, she lived with Kikichiro, her supervisor. The others respected this, barely, but jealousy simmered beneath the surface. The group's unity began to unravel. Kazuko was now the queen bee, and the hive was buzzing with dangerous energy. The fight for survival was turning into a fight for her. With Kazuko in their midst, the survivors tried to restore order. They built a village, divided labor, and even brewed coconut alcohol. To create stability, Kazuko and Kikichiro were married in a small ceremony. For a while, peace held, but desire and jealousy didn't disappear. The marriage crumbled. Kazuko left Kikichiro for a younger man, Yoshino. The group split into factions, loyal to Kikichiro, to Yoshino, or to no one. Kazuko was at the center of a web of rivalry. Her survival depended on navigating male egos and shifting alliances. The island's fragile order collapsed. Life became a struggle not just against nature, but against each other. The paradise was now a battleground. Kazuko's presence exposed the group's deepest divisions. Survival was about more than food. It was about power. Anatahan was descending into chaos. Power on Anatahan was up for grabs. The original command structure was gone. Authority now belonged to the strongest, most cunning men. Then, 2 pistols were found in the bomber wreckage. Whoever held a gun held ultimate power. Fear and paranoia spread. Arguments could now end in death. The men with guns, Yoshino and his ally, dominated the group. Resentment and suspicion grew. Alliances shifted. Trust vanished. The island devolved into tribalism, ruled by force. The pistols became symbols of chaos. Violence was inevitable. Anatahan's society was on the brink. Tension exploded into violence. The first death was suspicious. A rival for Kazuko fell from a tree. Was it an accident or murder? No one knew. More deaths followed. Accidents, disappearances, suspected killings. The men with guns were often at the center. In total, 11 men died or vanished. Desperate, the survivors threw the pistols into the sea. Then, they turned on Kazuko, proposing she marry the group or be killed. Fearing for her life, Kazuko fled into the jungle. She survived alone, waiting for rescue. In July 1950, she signaled an American ship and escaped. The nightmare was not over for those left behind. Kazuko's rescue stunned the world. She told Americans about the men still stranded, refusing to believe the war was over. The US dropped leaflets and messages from families, urging surrender. The men, paranoid and isolated, thought it was a trick. A year later, 1 man surrendered and returned safely to Japan. Word spread, the psychological wall crumbled. In June 1951, the remaining 19 men surrendered. They emerged, thin, bearded, in parachute silk clothes, into a world that had moved on. Their ordeal was finally over. They returned to a changed Japan. The island had changed them forever. They were relics of a lost world. Anatahan faded into history. The Anatahan survivors became a media sensation. Kazuko, dubbed the Queen Bee, was both vilified and sensationalized. Her life after the island was marked by stigma and struggle. The men too found it hard to readjust, some hailed as heroes, others haunted by rumors. The official story was accidents, but whispers of murder lingered. Anatahan exposed the rawest sides of human nature. When society's rules vanish, primal instincts take over. Power, jealousy, and fear can destroy even the strongest group. The real danger wasn't the island, it was each other. Anatahan is a cautionary tale about the thin veneer of civilization. The wild isn't just out there, it's inside us all. In the end, survival is about more than food and shelter. It's about facing the darkness within.